today with Julia and Christy and Jill, and I'm Tammy. So glad that you could join us. Of course, we're sponsored by Valerie Hill Vineyard and Winery. We always like to start off with a little cheers to them. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Always enjoy your wine. So, I think that, one of the things that just occurred to me today is that we're about 10 days from school letting out. I actually think that some of the city schools might have already let out, but the county schools have less than 2 weeks to go. And so I started thinking about, I've got 3 teenagers, and what in the world are they going to do all summer? And
Right.
how am I going to keep them busy? And what about those who have younger kids, and how do they keep them busy? And so I thought it might be fun just to share a little bit about, do you know of camps going on or other activities, and what are you doing for your kids?
Right. Well, there's so much going on. I guess, do you want to start talking about the older kids? And
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, does anyone have any graduating?
Yes.
You have a graduate this year.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
That's exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and what's the plan?
Taking it easy for the summer, and then she's starting at LFCC.
Okay, awesome. So she's
Yeah.
going to stay local.
Yes.
That'll be good. It's
For
always
the first
good to
2 years,
start.
and then we'll see after that.
Yeah, and I hear great things about the school, actually.
Yes.
Lord
Yeah.
Fairfax Community College has a really great reputation in the area.
Right.
And
right.
it's certainly, yeah.
Oh, there
I
you go.
teach there.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh,
maybe
that's right. I forgot.
yeah, so
Okay.
maybe she'll have me for Spanish.
Very good.
That'd be exciting.
Very good.
It's a
Excellent.
great school.
Yeah.
I have, my son has one more year, so
Okay.
we've got one more year of high school, and then I'm going to be in that same, like, what are we going to do? And
Right.
he's
right.
been looking at business schools in Canada, because my kids are dual citizens, and so they can go to school in Canada, and it's much, much cheaper
Right.
That's
than
so
going to
nice.
university here. And so that's what they've been looking at doing, and that's what he thinks he's going to do. So
Oh, nice.
I think we're going to spend some time this summer just going to look at a couple of different universities in Canada to see if it's what feels right to him. you know.
Right.
And that's so
right.
nice too. Years ago, I went off to Hollins College, and I was the only person from my high school that went there, so I knew nobody. And it was a great experience to go somewhere where nobody knew you. You could sort of just, start fresh
Right.
and meet new people from all over the place. And so that
Right.
would be like really cool for your son then to do that in Canada, a different country, different,
Well, and I think
people.
it even happens like at Lord Fairfax or the local schools. I feel like there are so many different smaller communities around that sort of feed into the area.
True.
And so I think quite often they go, and even my my high schoolers, because they change up, from when they transition from the middle school to high school. Some of them go to Sharando, some go to Millbrook, some and so they seem to get this whole new group of students that new friends and new people in their class, and so
Right,
I
right.
think the community is just large enough that they get a little bit of variety when they change, and that so that's really exciting though.
Yeah, yeah. She's a CNA. Well, she got her CNA through the high school program, actually. So she's already working at Westminster Canterbury.
Cool.
And so she's thinking, she's going to continue with her nursing, and
Very good.
she actually said doctorate at one point. I almost.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
fantastic.
I'll be taken care of then. I
Wow,
know.
that's excellent.
So
Well,
are you gonna have a party for her?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Big party?
Yeah, yeah. And she asked for Chipotle, so
oh, that's
she's getting
easy.
Chipotle.
Fantastic. yeah. I have a friend who did the I forget now what you call it, but where they get their college credits at during the same. Sure.
Julia's mic, is it still on your blouse there?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's not even moving.
Still sitting here. Do you want me to move it and make it?
No, it's okay now. I don't know why this is happening.
What is that called? The dual enrollment?
Yeah,
Is that
and
it?
my
Okay.
daughter is in
Okay.
that too.
Okay.
She actually got like 6 credits throughout her thing.
Good. So we'll talk about that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, hold
So,
on.
just a sec.
That's
all right.
And
Thank
Here
you.
we
No-
go.
no problem.
Okay. So, actually, a friend of mine, her daughter, who's also graduating, has been doing the dual enrollment program,
Right,
which
yeah.
before I'd moved to Virginia, I had not ever heard of that.
Me
But
either.
what a great opportunity. So
Right.
she's already gotten like a year of credits completed while
Right.
she was still in high school. And so that's a full year less that she has to pay for classes at university, which is amazing.
Yeah, my daughter
Right.
did the same thing.
She did.
Did the same thing, yeah. Lucky for us, the guidance counselors have been wonderful in kind of guiding her and letting, telling her how to move along, and so she's pretty forward with, with a lot of her education already, which is awesome.
Now, is it a little heartbreaking? Are you getting this like weird sentimental, like, oh, or are you like still fine because she's going to stay local for now? and-
Probably, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And
yeah.
she's my second one. I already have one that's in LFCC already from
Okay.
last year, so we're kind of like going one after the other.
Okay, so
you know?
you've been down this
Yeah.
road,
yeah,
so you're okay.
Yeah, but it's exciting. It's the next step, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, I have a few friends who their kids have graduated high school or are graduating in the next week or so, and they're pretty emotional about
Right,
their,
yeah.
the next step if they're moving out of state or moving to another area and in a dorm out of parents' home, that kind of
Right.
thing.
That I'm sure would be affecting me
Yes.
more right now. For sure, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, on Facebook right now, we're getting posts where my college girlfriends are posting 20th reunion and, pictures from our graduation. So, I mean, those were the 4 best years of my life. Like, they were really amazing for me. And so it makes me, this time of year always makes me remember all those great years and stuff. Our 20th reunion is this year at Hollins, and guess what? This is so cool. They contacted me through email, and they said, hey, we saw you're going to reunion and you live in Stevenson. That's near Winchester, right? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And they have somebody at Westminster Canterbury
Oh, okay.
who graduated from Hollins in 1952, and she needs a ride to reunion.
Oh my
What is
gosh.
that?
So
That
she's-
is very cool.
Yeah, so she's got to be like 87 years old,
my
right?
gosh.
And so my daughter's coming with me to reunion because she's 13 and she enjoys going to Hollins, and so we're gonna swing by like 8:30 in the morning, a couple weekends from now, and pick up Sue, who I've never
that's
met
great.
before, 87-year-old. Take her down to Hollins. Hopefully, hear all of her cool stories about back in the
Sure.
days,
Oh, yeah.
1950s at Hollins, right?
That's
I
cool.
graduated in '97. So yeah, her class is 1965. She graduated. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Let's go.
So, hey, Julia, I was going to ask you, what about you? What are you doing with your kids?
So my kids are a little bit older. They're both athletes. So my daughter will swim for the Stranger Sharks this summer.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, and she is a competitive runner, so she'll run as well, but not. We'll just do races, independent races. Mm-hmm. And then my son plays baseball. So Saturday he's trying out for like a select team. So I'm very excited to see if he'll make the team or not. And to top it off, because I don't have enough sports with my own children, we've decided that we're going to host a Winchester Royals baseball player this summer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool. And you know what? That's like a whole other topic that I think we absolutely need to talk about on the show because I think we've all had some experience with the Royals and hosting. And so let's definitely talk a little bit more about that.
Maybe
at a
you
future-
can. Maybe you can help me with my fears.
Okay, I can. We will have an
gosh.
in-depth discussion about this.
Well,
What about you, Christy?
every summer's so different. I look forward to the summer because Matt and I are both teachers. So this year, my daughter is like, I'm sick of going to Europe. And I'm like, really? Like, did that just come out of your mouth? She's like, I just want to stay home this summer. I know, for sure.
Don't make me go to Europe again, Mom.
I know, that's pretty
Child
much what
abuse.
it was like. So she's going to be going with her church on a mission trip to South Dakota, to
Nice.
Indian Reservation, which is really cool. So she's excited about that. And then she's volunteering at Camp Follow the Leader, and they always need volunteers, and it's a camp for special needs. And my youngest son will be going there, and it's really great camp. And like Shenandoah Discovery Museum will like host the kids for a day. Like therapeutic horseback riding comes in for a day. Like they do therapeutic swimming. Like it's really cool. And there are a lot of teens involved in volunteering, so that's fun. And then, so the youngest one is in several different camps and vacation Bible schools. And then Alejandro, he's heading off with his grandparents a week in Pennsylvania with some German exchange students, and then 2 weeks in Wisconsin and like Door County by the lake, like a whole lake house thing.
Oh, nice.
And then visit relatives. And then Javier, we're sending him to Europe to spend 2 weeks in France with my sister and his cousins, and then a week in London with my girlfriend from college.
Nice.
And we sort of are shipping a couple of them out because Matt and I are going to be going to Europe this summer without the kids for the first time ever.
What?
Ever.
Are you going to hit some new
Nice.
spots that you haven't gone before?
We are going to Italy, and my husband's never gone, and he actually took Italian in college, so he's very excited. So we're going to 2 new places in Italy I've never gone to. We're going to Rome, and then we're going to Umbria, which is the big wine country. So I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
And then we're going to London to visit my friend, and originally it was for the baptism of her child, but that got moved. So now we're just going to London and have some fun. And
Nice.
my husband hasn't been there in probably 20 years or so.
Cool.
So it'll be fun.
Well, I know you mentioned the Discovery Museum. So thinking of things around town, for the summer, I know
Right.
I know the Discovery Museum does some camps. They my husband works there, so I hear a lot about this.
I actually signed up my youngest
did?
for the Harry Potter Wizardry
Yes,
one, which I wish I could go as well because I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
It is
but
it's a very popular camp.
Yeah.
They do really well there.
Kind of excited
oh my
about
gosh,
that.
the kids will love that one. And then I think the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley,
Yeah, they
MSV,
have-
also has some camps for
They
kids.
do. They have some really cool art camps and different
nice.
things going on in the gardens and everything.
My kids have gone to Camp Horizon in the past and spent a couple of weeks one summer, which is in Harrisonburg. So
Great.
that's
and
a
right
really
next
fun
door
one.
is Camp Overlook, a Methodist church camp.
Oh,
That's
really?
super fun too. And they're actually looking for lifeguarders, like people.
Oh.
Is that a word? Lifeguarders.
Maybe just
Like
lifeguards.
Why did I say lifeguarders? Okay, so funny. The Spanish word for lifeguard is socorrista, and socorro is like help, help. So socorrista is like help her, like. But it's just funny. So they're really looking for some lifeguards,
There you go. Yes.
and there are lots of opportunities like that around here. And the Parks and Rec has. Different camps and stuff. The Winchester
Yes.
Royals are hosting a couple baseball camps.
Right.
There are a lot of neat things going on. And then they need volunteers at like Froggy's Closet, and the libraries like volunteers in the summer. And who else?
Sure.
Yeah, and actually
for
some of those other
volunteers.
places like Discovery Museum, they need for some of the older kids to help with the younger camps.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, so
right.
my son and my daughters sometimes have volunteered to help
Nice.
with those camps, and they have a great time doing that. So.
And there's so many day trip opportunities too around here because we live in such a great area. Like get over to the Baltimore Aquarium or
Right.
Great Country Farms, right? And then there's a bunch of different farms that are offering camps for kids now.
Right.
And then they can pick the fruits or vegetables and then they can cook and do like a mini cooking camp. So that's
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
neat
Cool.
too.
That is neat.
I'm going to be taking my kids into DC. We're both of my kids this year in history had studied the Holocaust, and so I'm gonna take
Oh,
them
the
to the
Holocaust
Holocaust
Museum,
I already told my
yeah.
boss. I was like, by the way,
Yeah.
I'm taking my kids to the Holocaust Museum this summer. So
Yeah.
Nice.
she was all supportive. So.
And Shenandoah University has the great theater this
Yeah,
summer.
all the plays
And that's great
musicals.
for kids too.
It's wonderful.
And it's so nice because
Nice.
it's so close. You're not having to truck into DC.
Right.
And those are
right.
great productions.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, we always go to all of those. They're great. Okay, well, so I do want to mention this weekend and Monday being Memorial Day. I know that that there will be many activities going on. Certainly want to encourage everyone to be really safe and have an enjoyable time. And Valerie Hill, I want to mention since they are our sponsor for the show, Valerie Hill is having an event on Monday. And so we encourage you to look them up, go on Facebook. I believe it starts at 1 o'clock, and they've got hot dogs and their different wines and live music and different activities and things like that. And so an opportunity to get together and just remember and recognize those that have served. And so here is a little cheers to them and a thank you to you all for joining us. Hope you join us again for Chick Chat.